In a small, quiet town lived a young man named Daniel. From the outside, his life looked normal. He had a simple job, a small room, and enough money to survive. But inside, Daniel felt disappointed with himself. Every morning, his alarm rang at 6 a.m. Every morning, he pressed snooze. "I will start tomorrow," he always said. Daniel had many dreams. He wanted to improve his English, get a better job, and become confident. He watched motivational videos at night and felt inspired for a few minutes. But the next day, nothing changed. He lacked self-discipline. After work, Daniel usually came home tired. Instead of studying or exercising, he scrolled on his phone for hours. Social media, short videos, and useless content slowly took control of his time. He knew this was a problem, but he did nothing. One evening, Daniel looked at himself in the mirror. His eyes looked tired. His posture was weak. "Why am I like this?" he asked quietly. He remembered his childhood. As a boy, he was curious and active. He finished things he started. But over the years, excuses replaced action. Comfort replaced effort. The next day at work, something happened. Daniel saw a new employee named Mark. Mark was younger, but confident and focused. During breaks, Mark read books instead of using his phone. He spoke clearly and worked with discipline. Daniel felt uncomfortable. "He is not smarter than me," Daniel thought. "So why is he better?" That question stayed in his mind all day. That night, Daniel could not sleep. He realized a painful truth. Talent did not change his life, discipline did. For the first time, he understood that motivation was temporary, but discipline was a decision made every day. Still, he was afraid. He knew change would be hard. He knew he would fail many times. But deep inside, a small voice said, "If you don't control your life, something else will." Daniel sat on his bed and made a simple promise to himself. "Tomorrow, I will wake up when the alarm rings." No excuses. It was a small promise, but it was the beginning of something bigger. In the beginning, self-discipline felt like an enemy to him. Every morning, his alarm rang at 6 a.m. Every morning, he touched the phone and thought, just 5 more minutes. 5 minutes became 15. 15 became 30. Soon, the morning was gone. He knew what he had to do. He had clear goals. He wanted to improve his English, learn new skills, and build a better future. But knowing was easy. Doing was hard. One day, after another wasted morning, he looked at himself in the mirror. He did not see a lazy person. He saw a tired person who was fighting inside. That day, he decided to start small. Not a big plan, not a perfect routine. Just one rule. Wake up and make the bed. It sounded stupid. How could making a bed change a life? But the next morning, he woke up, stood up immediately, and made his bed. It took less than 1 minute. Still, he felt something new. Control. That small action gave him a strange confidence. If he could control this, maybe he could control more. He added one more rule. No phone for the first 30 minutes of the day. This was much harder. His hand moved to the phone many times. His mind said, just check messages. But he stopped himself. Instead, he sat quietly. He drank water. He opened a book. At first, his mind was noisy. Thoughts were jumping everywhere. But slowly, day by day, the noise became softer. Self-discipline was not about being strict. It was about choosing long-term peace over short-term pleasure. Some days he failed. He slept late. He used his phone too much. But this time he did not quit. He remembered one important lesson. Discipline is not about never failing. It is about returning after failure. Each small win made him stronger. Each controlled decision built trust with himself. For the first time, he felt proud. Not because of results, but because he was learning to lead himself. And this was only the beginning. In the 3rd year of his journey, Daniel faced his first serious test of self-discipline. Until now, his routine was difficult but predictable. He woke up early, studied, worked, and avoided distractions. But life decided to challenge him in a new way. One morning, Daniel received a message from an old friend. The friend had started a new online business and invited Daniel to join. The message sounded exciting. It promised fast money, flexible hours, and an easy life. Daniel felt tempted. He imagined quitting his boring job and escaping his strict routine. For the first time in months, Daniel felt confused. His mind was divided. One voice said, "This is your chance. Don't be afraid." Another voice said, "Stay focused. Easy paths often lead nowhere." That day, Daniel could not concentrate. At work, he made small mistakes. In the evening, instead of studying, he kept thinking about the offer. His discipline was shaking. That night, Daniel sat alone in his small room. He took out his notebook, the same one he used to plan his daily routine. On the first page, he had written a sentence months ago. Discipline means choosing what you want most over what you want now. He read that sentence again and again. Daniel asked himself hard questions. Was this offer really aligned with his long-term goals? Did it require skill, patience, and growth, or just hope and luck? He realized something important. Discipline was not only about waking up early or working hard. It was also about saying no, even to good-looking opportunities, when they did not match his vision. The next day, Daniel replied to his friend politely. He said he could not join at that time. After sending the message, he felt a strange mix of fear and relief. Fear of missing out, but relief because he stayed true to himself. That week, Daniel doubled his focus. He reduced social media even more. He improved his study plan. Slowly, his confidence returned. He understood that discipline is tested not during easy days, but during moments of temptation. From that experience, Daniel learned a powerful lesson. Self-discipline is not about controlling your life. It is about protecting your future. This lesson stayed with him and prepared him for even bigger challenges ahead. By the fourth month, Daniel started to see small changes in his life. He woke up earlier, used his phone less, and finished his tasks on time. His mind felt clearer, and he was more confident. But just when he felt comfortable, life decided to test his self-discipline in a harder way. One week, Daniel received bad news. A project at work failed, and his manager was disappointed. At the same time, his old friends invited him to spend every night playing games and watching movies. Daniel felt tired, stressed, and angry. A strong voice inside him said, "You deserve a break. Just relax. Discipline can wait." For the first time in months, Daniel was very close to giving up. One evening, he sat on his bed, holding his phone, ready to lose hours on social media. His schedule was still on the wall, but now it felt heavy, not motivating. He asked himself, "Why am I doing all this?" That night, Daniel remembered his past. He remembered how many times he failed because he chose comfort over effort. He remembered the regret he felt when he wasted days and weeks. Slowly, he put the phone down. He took a deep breath and opened his notebook instead. Daniel decided to face the pain instead of escaping it. He worked on his skills even when his mood was low. He exercised even when his body felt weak. He understood something important. Self-discipline is not about feeling strong. It is about acting even when you feel weak. The next day was still hard, but Daniel felt proud. He did not win, but he did not quit either. He learned that real discipline is tested during difficult moments, not easy days. Comfort was tempting, but his future was more important. From that moment, Daniel stopped asking, "How do I feel today?" He started asking, "What must be done today?" And that simple change made him stronger than ever. By the fifth month, Daniel's life looked better from the outside. He woke up early, exercised, studied every day, and worked with focus. His manager noticed his progress and gave him more responsibility. His body felt stronger, and his mind felt clearer. But this was the moment when self-discipline was truly tested. One evening, Daniel received a message from an old friend. "Come out tonight," the message said. "Just relax. You work too much now." Daniel stared at his phone. In the past, he would say yes without thinking. Late nights, fast food, and wasted hours were normal before. A part of him missed that easy life. He felt tired and told himself, "One night will not destroy everything." At the same time, another voice spoke inside him. "You know where that road leads," it said. "Tomorrow you will wake up tired, guilty, and behind again." Daniel sat quietly for a few minutes. He remembered why he started this journey. He remembered the feeling of being lost, weak, and disappointed in himself. He also remembered how proud he felt after every disciplined day. He replied to his friend politely, "Not tonight. I have goals I must protect." After sending the message, Daniel felt strange. He felt a small pain, like he was losing something. But a few minutes later, that pain turned into strength. He realized an important truth. Self-discipline often feels uncomfortable at first, but regret feels much worse. That night, instead of going out, Daniel read, planned his next week, and slept early. The next morning, he woke up fresh and confident. At work, he solved a problem that others avoided. His manager said, "You are becoming someone we can trust." Those words stayed in Daniel's mind all day. He understood something new. Self-discipline is not about punishment. It is about respecting your future self. From that day on, Daniel learned to pause before every decision. He asked himself one simple question: will this choice make me stronger or weaker? Slowly, his answers shaped a new life. He was not perfect. He still made mistakes. But now, he always returned to discipline. And each time he did, his self-control grew stronger. This was not the end of his struggle. It was the moment he proved to himself that he was in control. Life did not become easy after he learned self-discipline. In fact, some days became even harder. There were moments when he felt tired, confused, and alone. Problems came one after another. Money was still limited. Progress was slow. Sometimes he felt like giving up. One cold morning, he woke up feeling empty. His mind said, "Today is not important. You can rest." But his discipline answered, "This is exactly the day that matters." He stood up, washed his face, and followed his routine again. At work, things went wrong. A project failed, and his boss was disappointed. Old feelings returned: fear, anger, and doubt. Before, he would react emotionally. He would argue or blame others. But now he paused. He took a deep breath and stayed calm. He understood something important. Discipline is not only about actions, but also about reactions. Staying calm in difficult moments was part of his growth. Instead of complaining, he asked himself, "What can I learn from this?" That evening, he felt very tired. His body wanted comfort, not effort. The easy choice was to skip his habits. But discipline is tested most during hard times. So he opened his notebook and reviewed his goals. He reminded himself why he started. He did not work perfectly that night. He worked honestly. Even small effort felt like a victory. He realized that discipline does not mean being strong all the time. It means continuing even when you feel weak. Slowly, he noticed a change inside himself. Problems no longer controlled his emotions. Stress no longer pushed him into bad decisions. Discipline gave him inner stability. He felt stronger, not outside, but inside. Before sleeping, he wrote one sentence: "Hard days are not enemies. They are teachers." That night, he slept peacefully, knowing that discipline was becoming part of who he was. Life did not become easier for Daniel. In fact, it became harder. As he improved himself, new responsibilities came. His job required more focus, his studies demanded more time, and people started to expect more from him. One week, everything went wrong at the same time. He had an important project at work, an exam at night school, and family problems at home. Stress filled his mind. Old habits tried to return. He felt tired, angry, and confused. One evening, Daniel sat alone in his room. His phone was in his hand. Social media, videos, and games were calling him again. Just 1 hour, a voice inside said, "You deserve rest." Daniel stood up and looked at his notebook on the desk. On the first page, he had written months ago, "Self-discipline is choosing what you want most, not what you want now." He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. This was a real test. He made a simple plan for the next 3 hours. 60 minutes for work, 10 minutes break, 60 minutes for study, 10 minutes break, 40 minutes review. No perfection, just control. During the first hour, his mind was noisy. He checked the clock many times. But he stayed. In the second hour, something changed. His focus became stronger. His thoughts slowed down. He was tired but calm. At midnight, Daniel finished his plan. He was exhausted but proud. He did not win money or praise that night. But he won something more important: trust in himself. The next day, his project was accepted. His exam went well. But the biggest success was invisible. Daniel learned that discipline is not about motivation. It is about showing up even when life is heavy. Pressure did not break him. It shaped him. And Daniel understood one powerful truth. If you can control yourself in hard moments, you can control your future. One evening, after a long and exhausting day, he sat alone in his small room. The light was dim, and the city noise came through the window. His phone was on the table, full of messages, videos, and easy distractions. His body wanted rest, and his mind wanted escape. "This is enough for today," a voice inside him said. "You deserve a break." He picked up the phone and looked at the screen. This moment felt small, but he knew it was important. He remembered something he had learned. Self-discipline is built in silent moments when no one is watching. Success does not come from big decisions only. It comes from small choices made every day. He put the phone down and opened his notebook instead. He reviewed what he had planned for the day. Some tasks were done, some were not. He felt a little disappointed, but he did not blame himself. Instead, he asked a simple question. What is the right next action? The answer was clear. It was not something big or exciting. It was just one more hour of focused work. One more step forward. He took a deep breath and started again. At first, his mind resisted. He felt tired, slow, and unfocused. But after a few minutes, something changed. His attention became sharper. His thoughts became calmer. He felt a quiet strength growing inside him. This strength did not come from motivation. It came from discipline. He realized that discipline is not about being hard on yourself. It is about respecting your future self. Every time he chose focus over comfort, he was sending a message to himself. My goals matter. My time matters. That night, he did not work perfectly. He made mistakes and stopped a few times. But he did not quit. When he finally closed his notebook, he felt peaceful. Not because the work was finished, but because he had stayed in control. Before sleeping, he wrote one sentence in his journal. Today, I chose progress over comfort. He understood something important then. Life will always offer easy paths and quick pleasure. But self-discipline teaches you to pause, think, and choose wisely. And every wise choice, no matter how small, slowly builds a strong and focused mind. This was not the end of his struggle, but it was proof that he was changing one decision at a time. At this stage of his life, Daniel had already changed many habits. He woke up early, worked every day, and controlled his emotions. But real discipline is not tested when life is easy. It is tested when life becomes hard again. One day, Daniel lost an important opportunity. A project he worked on for months was rejected. No praise, no reward, only silence. Old Daniel would have reacted quickly. He would have complained, blamed others, and quit. But this time, something was different. He felt angry. He felt disappointed. But he did not react. Instead of shouting or giving up, he sat quietly. He took a deep breath and asked himself a simple question. What can I control right now? He could not control the decision. He could not control other people. But he could control his actions. The next morning, Daniel woke up at the same time. He followed his routine exactly as before. Exercise, reading, work, no excuses, no drama. This was the moment he understood something important. Self-discipline means staying consistent even when results disappear. Days passed, then weeks. People around him were surprised. They said, "Why are you still working so hard? You already failed." Daniel smiled and replied calmly, "I didn't fail. I'm still training my discipline." Inside, he felt stronger than ever. He realized that discipline is not about motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. By not reacting emotionally, by not quitting when things went wrong, Daniel proved to himself that he was no longer controlled by his feelings. This was not a big victory that people could see, but it was a silent victory inside his mind. And this inner victory prepared him for the biggest change of his life. By the final stage of his journey, Daniel had completely transformed his life through the power of self-discipline. Every morning, he followed his routines without exception, waking up early, exercising, reviewing his goals, and working on his skills. Each small action, repeated consistently, had built a strong foundation for success. Daniel realized that self-discipline was more than just following rules. It was about controlling impulses, prioritizing long-term goals over short-term desires, and staying committed even when motivation was low. He understood that success was not about talent alone, but about persistence and structured effort. Challenges still came, unexpected work problems, personal obstacles, and moments of fatigue, but Daniel approached them with calmness and focus. He knew that discipline gave him the strength to act effectively, even under pressure. Over time, Daniel's hard work paid off. He achieved his personal and professional goals, earned respect from peers, and became a role model for others struggling with motivation and self-control. He also found inner peace, knowing that he had taken control of his life instead of leaving it to chance. The story teaches us that anyone can improve their life through daily discipline, focused effort, and consistent action. Small, repeated choices lead to big results over time. Daniel's journey proves that self-discipline is the key to success, personal growth, and a fulfilled life.